Today we're going to make silicone molds to continue our Halloween project. I am molding a variety of sizes of good old skeleton heads. And if you saw my other video, you saw me make molds out of floral foam. That works really well. I wanted to get more and just go ahead and do that because it was a lot less mess and a lot less time. But where I live, you can't find things. So I couldn't find what I needed, so now I'm going to have to make something else. So what I did is I went down to my local hardware store and I got 100% silicone caulking. And I have cornstarch and I have oil. And then I have some acrylic paint to color the mold. That's all you need for making the silicone mold itself. But when you're done, what are you going to need? Well, you're going to need the items that you hope to mold with. The other things that I did to get ready for this is I put Saran wrap down on my workstation because it is a wood workstation. I am in my kitchen and I don't want any cross-contamination going on. So I needed Saran wrap and some clear tape. I just taped it down to the surface, which also helps me when this starts coming out because I have the gun. If it dribbles on the counter, it's not going to be a big deal. I can get it off just by taking the Saran wrap off. I also, it may be overkill, Saran wrapped these bowls. These bowls I'm actually going to use to rest the molds in while they're drying on the things that I'm wanting to mold. We don't eat out of those, but I did put the Saran wrap in there because I use them for other type of projects and I don't want cross-contamination. So to get started, okay, so for those who already know how to work one of these, fast forward to where we start the project because I'm going to talk to those who don't. And don't feel bad if you don't know. I didn't know until I was 30. So anyway, what you want to do is it comes like this. You want to press on this little lever back here, release, and what they'll do is release the pressure. There's a hole right here. That is where the top of your caulking will go, and then you just hit it and it cuts it just like that. Now there is a little wire right here at the end. That is because inside there's a seal, so you want to break that seal several times so you can get your caulking out. Okay, and then I'm going to put this back under here. We'll try it now. There we go. So I'm going to do the medium-sized one. So you want to put in enough to cover it with the caulk. And then you're going to want to back this off because it will continue to push. And you don't really want it to do that. So there you go. We're going to add a little bit, just a couple of drops of oil. And what the oil does is it makes it pliable, makes it easier for you to move. So here I'm going to put in about half what I have in caulk. And I am going to get one of my handy dandy chopsticks that is now going to be gone. And I'm going to start stirring, whoops, to get this going. So as I was saying, the oil helps it stay a little pliable while you're working it. And if this starts looking a little too choppy, then you can always add more caulk, or if it's too sticky, you can always add more cornstarch. Right now, I am going to add a little bit of color into it. And you want to work in a well-ventilated area because it does give off a smell. Okay, so I am going to take this and put it off into here, and I'm probably going to go ahead and put some more cornstarch on it. And then cornstarch my fingers. It's much like kneading bread or something like that. You don't want it to stick to you. Here we go. And I do believe I did mention it, but if you're doing this, don't use anything that you plan on reusing for anything else. This has got to be a dedicated thing, because you're never going to get all this off. And once you get feeling, doing it and stuff, you'll know how it feels or how you particularly want it. So we're just going to knead for a little bit. You really don't want it sticking to your gloves, so if it's still sticking, you need a little more kneading, but there we go. I'm going to make it into a ball. Can here. Okay, now I'm going to do the medium one first. So I'm going to put some cornstarch on it. You really don't have to, but why not? Better safe than sorry, right? I wish the little jaw didn't move, but there you go. Sorry, nose itches. Okay, so now I'm just going to squish him on there. Now the other thing, which bears to mention, is that when you cast something this big, you really need to have a mother form. And I was going to do that with, make sure I got some in the eyes here, with the plaster impregnated gauze. For those ladies that are my age or older, you will remember it as the old casting material for broken limbs. Because we have so many crafty ladies around here, there wasn't a demand, so they stopped carrying it. So I am just using a bowl. I placed it in the bowl, and I think I'm going to end up having to bring this up to hold the edges in, because the top edge up here is giving way and I don't want it to do that. Not an ideal situation, but you got to do what you got to do to keep it up. And the reason it's not an ideal situation is because the saran wrap, which is supposed to keep things fresh, here that works, would retard the drying time, and I don't want to do that. So there you go. We've got one mold down. I'm going to mix a whole heck of a lot more I'm just going to pull that back in, for the big skull. And I'm going to change out my gloves to do that. So we will be right back. Now I'm going to do the big big skull. Rubbing some of this on, so hopefully it doesn't stick. One can only hope. I think I already said that. Now remember, I don't want the whole skull, I just want the face, because I'm putting all of these, I need a flat back. So I can put these onto a pillar. So I'm doing a pillar of skulls. Alright, so it's going to go into this bowl. So I'm going to set it like this for right now. Work it out. I want a little more on the eyes. So I'm going to get the eyes in there. Up on the skull. Work my way down. Get some cheekbone action. Alright. Try and get it down by the teeth. I can feel those teeth in there. Okay. So this jaw part here, because it's flat open, I'm going to have to do something about that. Because frankly, you know, when I go to pour in the plaster, it's not going to form real well right there. So I'll have to figure something out. But instead of doing it upside down like I did the other one, I'm going to do this one right side up. It can air dry. In fact, I think I'll go ahead and turn this one right side up. Wow, that's already feeling hard. Been what, 10 minutes? I think this one's done. It is, it's done. So let's see how it turned out. Slow release. Don't want to break it. There we go. I'm sorry, it's just, you know, I watched several videos on how to do this. And I really didn't expect it to turn out as good as it did. But, you know, there's tons of videos on how to do this on Facebook. Or not Facebook, I'm sorry, on YouTube. Some don't do colorant in it, and some do colorant in it. And I decided to do colorant because I decided that's what I wanted to do. So when a plan comes out nicely, you get excited. So here we go. I've got this skull, and we hopefully will have the bigger skull. I'm going to let it continue curing. This one's still curing. We'll come back to that later. I'm just going to double check that everything is where it needs to be. Still have some working time. Okay, so we're going to let that dry. It is hot in this kitchen, so it may not take that long, but I think we're well on the way to having a great day. We'll be back to check on it soon.